Welcome back to your channel, where today we're diving into one of Hollywood's most persistent and controversial secrets: age fudging. Yes, believe it or not, some of our favorite stars have misrepresented their ages, sometimes by a year or two, sometimes by much more. In this video, we'll expose who was caught, how it came to light, and why many insist on shaving years off their public persona. Before we dive into today's spicy topic, take a second to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss our latest deep dives into celebrity secrets and scandals. Have you ever lied about your age? Maybe to get into a club, impress someone, or apply for a job? Be honest and drop your story in the comments below. Because, as you'll see in today's video, even the most famous celebrities have done the exact same thing. And sometimes, it changed their careers forever. From actors who aged themselves up just to land a role, to pop stars who shaved off years to stay relevant. Today we're exposing the shocking truth about celebrities who lied about their age and how they finally got caught. Let's start with the big question. Why do so many celebrities lie about their age? In an industry that's obsessed with youth, beauty, and marketability, age becomes more than just a number. It becomes a career weapon. Sometimes, the difference between getting a role or losing it comes down to a few digits on your birth certificate. For young rising stars, lying about being older can mean getting access to adult roles that pay more or offer greater exposure. For aging celebrities, pretending to be younger can keep them in the game longer, especially in Hollywood, where the pressure to stay forever young can be overwhelming. Here are the most common reasons stars tweak the truth about their age. Casting opportunities. Some auditions have strict age requirements. If the character is 18 but you're 15, lying can be the only way to get in the room. Career longevity. For established actors, a lower listed age can mean more leading roles and fewer rejections due to being too old. Public image and branding. Age can affect sponsorship deals and marketing. Many celebrities are branded as young icons, and that illusion helps sell products. Industry ageism. Especially for women, turning 35 in Hollywood can feel like crossing an invisible line, where leading roles suddenly become scarce. Personal insecurity. Beyond business reasons, some stars simply fear losing relevance in a culture obsessed with youth. But here's the twist. In almost every case, the truth always comes out. Whether through leaked documents, high school yearbooks, or investigative reporters, no lie lasts forever in the digital age. Now let's pull back the curtain and reveal some of Hollywood's most infamous and sometimes hilarious age lies. 1. Mila Kunis. When Mila Kunis auditioned for That 70s Show, the role required someone 18 or older, but Mila was only 14. So what did she do? She told producers she was going to be 18. Not technically a lie, but definitely misleading. Years later, she admitted on The Tonight Show, "I told them I was gonna be 18. Which wasn't technically a lie, because eventually I would be. That small lie launched her career, and she kept the secret until she was safely a household name. James Blunt. Here's one of the funnier examples. In 2007, singer James Blunt told the press he was 33. Then, in 2010, he told another interviewer he was 33 again. Fans quickly caught on, joking that maybe time really did stop for the You're Beautiful singer. A harmless fib, sure, but a funny glimpse into celebrity vanity. For years, Sandra Bullock's public image was carefully built around youth and relatability. She always seemed like the fresh-faced woman who somehow never aged. When her career began to take off in the early 1990s, the entertainment world wasn't nearly as kind to women as it is today. Studios, agents, and casting directors often judged actresses harshly based on a single number, their age. And so, like many stars of that era, Sandra quietly shaved a few years off. The story goes that when she first arrived in Los Angeles, She found herself up against younger actresses being cast as love interests and leading ladies. She was told, subtly but repeatedly, that being over 30 could end her chances at major roles. So, the age on her resume magically became a few years younger than the truth. Was it a calculated lie, or just a defense mechanism? Perhaps a little of both. Gabrielle Carteris. When Beverly Hills 90210 premiered, actress Gabrielle Carteris was actually 29 years old, playing a 16-year-old high schooler. When producers asked her age, she said she was 21. Her lawyer even drafted a contract that allowed her to sign under that false age. By the time the truth came out, the show was a global hit and nobody cared. Still, it's a perfect example of how age lies can become career-defining. Nicki Minaj. In 2011, fans were shocked when police documents revealed that Nicki Minaj was born in 1982, not 1984 as she'd long claimed. 2 years might not seem like much, but for a pop star who was branding herself as a fresh, young phenomenon, it mattered. The revelation came during an unrelated legal case, when her real birth year appeared in official records. Nicki never made a big deal of it, but fans never forgot. The truth came out in 2011 after a public incident. A fight outside a hotel in Dallas led to police reports that revealed her real date of birth. Fans were shocked, but Nicki handled it with her signature confidence, brushing off the age discrepancy like it was no big deal. Rebel Wilson. Few celebrity age scandals have been as dramatic as Rebel Wilson's. For years, Rebel was listed as being in her late 20s or early 30s, but in 2018, an Australian magazine published her high school yearbook photo, proving she was 36. Rebel later explained that the entertainment industry's sexism and ageism pushed her to hide the truth. When you're an actor, it affects women more than men. You're labeled as too old for certain roles, she said. The revelation caused a frenzy online, but to Rebel's credit, she handled it with humor and grace. Back in the early 2000s, rapper Nelly appeared on Teen People's list of hottest stars under 25. The problem? He was actually 28 at the time. It was a small fib, but one that showed even successful men in music feel pressure to appear younger in the spotlight. For truth, Nelly was born in 1974, not in the late 70s, as some early interviews suggested. That subtle tweak made him appear just the right age to appeal to both younger fans and record labels hungry for the next young star. It worked brilliantly. His breakout album, Country Grammar, exploded onto the charts in 2000, making him an overnight sensation. Fans saw him as youthful, energetic, and edgy, exactly what the industry wanted to market. But behind the scenes, Nelly had already spent years perfecting his craft, working tirelessly with his group, the Saint Lunatics, before fame ever found him. Unlike many celebs who scramble to cover their tracks, he simply laughed it off. In later interviews, he joked that people could call him whatever age they wanted, as long as they kept playing his records. Geri Halliwell, or the Ginger Spice. During the height of the Spice Girls craze, fans could never quite pin down Geri Halliwell's real age. Even her bandmates were confused. Mel B once joked that nobody really knew how old Geri was. For years, her birth year seemed to change depending on the interview. While not exactly a serious deception, it added an air of mystery to the group's fiery redhead. When the Spice Girls burst onto the scene in 1996, the group was marketed as 5 young, fresh-faced girls ready to take over the world. At the time, youth was the ultimate selling point, and Geri knew it. She presented herself as being in her early 20s, just like her bandmates. But in truth, she was several years older. Born in 1972, Geri was actually around 25 years old when the group launched, not 21, as the official story suggested. Geri later admitted that the decision wasn't entirely hers, but she went along with it because it helped the group maintain its youthful image. After all, at that time, the industry was relentless. Female pop stars were expected to be young, fun, and unthreatening. Being older wasn't considered glamorous. It was a potential PR problem. But here's where the story gets even more interesting. When Geri left the Spice Girls in 1998, the tabloids went wild. Journalists began digging deeper into her past, unearthing her true birth year and exposing the age difference she'd hidden for so long. Suddenly, headlines screamed about her being older than she claimed. It could have been a career-ending revelation, but Geri, true to her spirit, turned it into a moment of empowerment. What's fascinating is how that brief lie about her age became symbolic of something bigger: the pressure on women to fit impossible molds in show business. Geri later became a vocal advocate for self-acceptance, body positivity, and authenticity. She often spoke about the mental toll of fame, admitting that behind her flashy stage persona, she struggled to keep up with the expectations that came with being a pop idol. Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo's birth year has long been a subject of debate. Some documents list 1969, others 1970. While it's just a one-year difference, tabloids jumped on the inconsistency. Was it a PR tweak, a clerical mistake, or a subtle effort to make her seem just a bit younger during her pop star rise? We may never know, but one thing's for sure: Jennifer Lopez hasn't aged a day in decades anyway. Eminem, back in 1999, when Eminem's fame exploded, he told The Howard Stern Show he was 24. But public records later showed he was actually 27. At the time, youth was key to his rebellious newcomer image, so being a few years younger probably sounded right for marketing. When Eminem first hit the mainstream in the late 90s, he was marketed as the rebellious young underdog shaking up hip-hop's established order. Reporters, magazines, and even record labels listed him as being in his early 20s when the Slim Shady LP dropped in 1999. In reality, Eminem was already 26 years old, not 23 as widely reported. That 3-year difference might seem small, but in the image-driven world of late 90s rap, where youth meant hunger, rebellion, and marketability, it mattered. Being 26 in a game dominated by early 20-somethings made him seem like a latecomer, and the label wanted to sell the idea of a young, raw voice rising out of Detroit's underground scene. And when the truth about his age finally surfaced, fans didn't care. In fact, it only added to his legend, because Eminem wasn't trying to cling to youth. He was rewriting his story to fit the mythology of hip-hop. The kid who came from nothing, who fought the world with words, and who refused to let time define him.